Dear God, we gather today to give you thanks. We ask for rain, if it be your will. Be with those here gathered to do the business of the county. Be with us and grant us wisdom and courage. Do the right things for the right reasons. We ask for your presence and that all that we do and say be pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name, amen. This morning, the chair comment is about one of our functions every session is to review vouchers. And this session was my pleasure to review those people who had appeared for jury service. I want to remind all of us that appearing for jury service is not only a duty, but a privilege. And I thank all those who appeared and provided the court with the ability to have the community speak in the juror box. Please keep up all the hard work and keep our courts running efficiently and smoothly. This morning, council or commissioners, we have a consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? My discussion involves approval of the tax roll changes. I think that there's a circumstance where we had 21 homes by one builder made into 21 appeals before the Board of Tax Appeals. I'd like to see those consolidated. That's my comment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, we have some guests and an opportunity for public comment.
Yes, Janet, would you like to come up?
Good morning, Chairman Schultz and Commissioners. Thank you for having us. My name is Janet Harkness. I am the 4-H agent for the West Plains Extension District, which is the extension program covering Scott and Finney counties. And today we have with us our West Plains 4-H Youth Leadership Team. And we have members in the group from 12 to 14 years old. And this is an immersive leadership program. The kids are with us from March through September when they have a graduation, and all of you will get graduation invites. But they are learning different leadership skills. They're honing their parliamentarian procedure skills, and they are also working on a community challenge project, which they are doing some fact-finding here today. They've gone to the Live Well Finney County Health Coalition meeting as well to determine what is an issue within our community that they, as a youth team, in teams of 3, can put together a proposal to kind of solve a problem or an issue within our communities with a specific call to action for our youth to get involved. So they are here fact-finding. They are going to be taking notes, and they may be contacting you after the meeting to get a little bit more information on things that have gone on today for business or in previous meetings as well, because they have access to your meeting minutes. So I would like to introduce, we have Braden Boyd, Keely Bryant, Grayson Gleason, Gentry Hands, Macy Hands, Harper Sowers, Harvick Sowers, Mason Roark, and Haley Unruh. So I'd like to introduce you to our leadership team for Finney County. We do have 3 other members from Scott County, and they are attending meetings up in Scott County as well. So thank you very much for having us, for letting us sit in and take notes and watch how our local government functions. So if there are any questions, I would take them now, or if you have questions of the kids, they are very comfortable coming up and answering any questions, right? Perfect. And we want to thank you for the gift bags, too.
Questions for Ms. Harkness?
Janet, are these all Finney County 4-H'ers?
These are all Finney County 4-H'ers here today. Yes.
Anything else? Janet, thank you for bringing your achievement, and leaders, I would ask that they contact us by email at the published email address.
Okay.
For questions about today's session or any other questions with regard that come up into the minutes. We'll make a timely response.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
Any other public comment, Madam Clerk? All right. We'll close public comment and go to the business items, and we'll start with National Public Health Week.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shruti Chabra, Finney County Health Department. The board is asked to consider proclaiming the week of April 7, 2025 as National Public Health Week with the theme, "It Starts Here, Your Health is Our Mission." The Health Department has planned several events and social media campaigns for observing this week for 2025, and we invite the board and the public to join us in these observations. Every year, the board proclaims the first full week of April as National Public Health Week, issuing a call to action for all members of Finney County, of the Finney County community. In 2025, we mark 30 years of celebrating this important week. It's a time to bring together eclectic voices in public health, recognize key contributions, address pressing health issues, celebrate our successes, and look ahead to future challenges as we build a shared vision for a healthier tomorrow. The alternatives are to proclaim the week of April 7 to 13, 2025 as National Public Health Week, and or to not proclaim it as such. Staff recommends option 1. The board is also asked to encourage Finney County residents to join in the observations with Finney County Health Department.
Questions for Shruti?
I do want to mention that we have submitted a calendar of events that we will be hosting this week. On Friday, April 11th, 2025, we were going to have an open house at FCHD. However, we have canceled that event in light of the measles case that we have in Finney County. Instead, we will be holding an MMR vaccination clinic for everybody on that day at the department.
Would you please explain to the public what MMR is?
Okay. MMR is a vaccine for mumps, measles, and rubella. It is a vaccine that usually children get at 12 months of age and 4 years of age. The second dose is prior to entering kindergarten. It protects children from measles, which in the past used to be a big cause of the death of young children under 1 year of age or under 5 years of age. Since we've had this vaccine, there have been very few cases in the country. We have had some cases, some sporadic cases in Kansas in the past few weeks. We had our first case in an adult a week back, and we are continuing to make sure that everybody who has not received the vaccine stays has been exposed stays protected. It's very important to so the MMR vaccine, 2 doses of it, offer enough protection for life. But if you haven't had the vaccine, you could be susceptible to measles. So the susceptible age groups then become children under 12 months of age because they don't get a vaccine until then. At this point, KDHE recommends that children 6 months to 11 months of age get a special dose because of the case that we have in our community. And then they recommend that anybody who has already had the first dose get a second dose after at least 28 days after. Measles is very, very contagious, so if someone is not vaccinated, we would like them to get vaccinated. And if people have questions, they can call us. We are available to answer all questions.
From the chair's perspective, there's no reason why everyone is not vaccinated from MMR. Measles is a highly contagious disease, and there's no excuse for being a contagion in our public health. Since it's National Public Health Week, I've been asked to read and sign a resolution. However, the Board of County Commissioners is not the only board that's involved here. It's the local Board of Health in Finney County, and so I would entertain a motion to convene the local Board of Health to consider this proclamation.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to also convene as the local Board of Health in conjunction with the Board of County Commissioners. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other questions for Shruti before I read the proclamation?
I have a couple of questions. Shruti, I pulled out my vaccination records. I didn't have the ones from my childhood, but I know I had all my childhood vaccinations. But I remembered years ago, and by my records, it was 1990. There was an outbreak of measles. And it was recommended at that time that certain people get an additional booster, which I did at that time. Is there any call for something like that?
So the additional dose right now is recommended only for the 6 months to 11 months children. For anybody else, if you have had 2 vaccines, you are considered immune. For most adults under ordinary circumstances, even 1 vaccine provides enough protection. But if you are not sure, or if you would like to get the second one, we can give you the second shot.
Okay. And one other question. I noticed on the schedule, there was a roundtable scheduled for, I believe, Wednesday. Is that still on the
Yes.
schedule?
Yes.
And is that open to,
So
Everyone, or-
we are not opening it to the public just to avoid any infection, chances of infection and exposure. So we will keep it open to the staff, and we will have a few guests, but we will, whatever is discussed, we will post it on our social media.
if you would like a commissioner present, I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chairman. That'll be wonderful. The proclamation proposed reads as follows. The week of April 7th is National Public Health Week, and the theme is It Starts Here, highlighting the importance of making a difference in our home, community, and state. This year is the 30th anniversary of celebrating National Public Health Week, and in the past 30 years, significant strides have been made in public health, including the following successes. Deaths due to HIV and AIDS, which peaked in 1994, have dropped significantly with access to antiviral therapy, ensuring most people with HIV can live normal lifespans, and prevention tools like PrEP significantly reduce transmission. Smoking rates, which were as high as 25.5% among U.S. adults in 1994, have now fallen to 11.4% due to comprehensive smoke-free policies, public awareness campaigns, and taxation of tobacco products. Childhood mortality, which was at the rate of 13.8 deaths per 1,000 live births in 1994, has now fallen to 5.4 per 1,000 live births due to improved nutrition, access to vaccines, and better health care. Mental health awareness and treatment, with 40% of people with mental health conditions being untreated in 1994, has progressed with increased awareness, parity laws, and integration into primary care, which have expanded access to mental health services and reduced treatment gaps. Lead poisoning, with 4.4% of U.S. children having elevated blood levels in 1994, they have now fallen to less than 0.05% due to policies banning leaded gasoline and reducing lead in paint, pipes, and water systems. Pandemic preparedness, which was in its infancy in 1994, has now grown, especially after COVID-19, spurring significant advancements in prevention and treatment and increased investments in infrastructure, stockpiles, and disease monitoring, all of which should be and must be sustained. The population of the United States continues to experience disparities in the burden of illness and death. A person's health status can differ drastically by zip code due to difference in the built environment, environmental quality, community context, access to healthy food, access to education, and access to health care. Public health organizations use National Public Health Week to educate policymakers, public health professionals, and the public on issues that are important to improving the health of the people of the United States. Public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, ranging from infectious disease outbreaks to natural disaster preparedness. And efforts to adequately support public health and the prevention of disease and injury can continue to transform a health system focused on treating illness into a health system focused on preventing disease and injury and promoting wellness. Now, therefore, I, Jerry Schultz, Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners and Local Health Board of Finney County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 7th through the 13th, 2025, as National Public Health Week in Finney County and call upon the people of Finney County to join in this observation. Dated April 7th, 2025. Is there a motion by the local health board and the Board of County Commissioners to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Shruti.
Motion to adjourn the Public Health Board.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second to adjourn the Public Health Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're back in regular session. I'd ask everyone to please note the schedule of events as modified during today's presentations. Tomorrow is Celebrate Community Advocacy. Wednesday is the roundtable for discussion of the community leaders, including the vice chairman. April 10th is Environmental Action starts here, promoting education. And then we'll have April 11th, as discussed by Shruti, the opportunity for vaccines for the community. Let's stop the measles right here, right now. Thank you, Shruti. Next up, we have John from Planning Office. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. John Persisto, planner with Neighborhood Development Services. Pro Stake Surveying is requesting to plat the Ralston addition. The property is generally located at 1120 North Sherman Road, Finney County, Kansas. The property is currently zoned RI Rural Industrial and is currently vacant. Lot 1, Block 1 contains 4.34 acres. The applicant intends to use this property for residential purposes. The property is currently going through the rezone process, and the plat will need to be recorded with the Register of Deeds, and the property will need to be rezoned prior to issuing any building permits. The second submittal was presented for review on March 14th, 2025, and staff determined the plat meets the minimum requirements of the zoning and subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the plat at their January 16th, 2025 meeting, which the meeting minutes are attached. And there are two alternatives before you today. The Board of County Commissioners may approve the parcel plat, and two, the Board of County Commissioners may not approve the parcel plat. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the parcel plat, and there's no fiscal impact on this.
Questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the parcel plat as presented for this landowner. Advised this morning is present in the room. And I'd like to thank Officer Ralston for his service to our community. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, John.
Brecken Ralston is requesting to rezone the property generally located at 1120 North Sherman Road from RI Rural Industrial District to RR Rural Residential District. And the property contains 4.34 acres. The property is currently vacant, and the applicant intends to build a home on the property and use it for residential purposes. This property is currently going through the platting process. The property will need to be platted and rezoned before any building permits can be issued. The Finney County Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map designates the property as mixed-use potential, which includes residential, commercial, and light industrial uses. The adjacent properties are zoned A Agricultural District. Rezoning the property to RR Rural Residential District would be the most appropriate zoning district for this property. This zoning district allows for single-family dwellings within the county and provides a small variety of uses as well. The Board of County Commissioners may make its recommendation and state its findings according to the criteria in section 27.040, and below is a list items A through I. And there are three alternatives before you today. One, the Board of County Commissioners may adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed resolution. Two, the Board of County Commissioners may override the Planning Commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. And three, the Board of County Commissioners may return the recommendation to the Planning Commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed resolution.
All right, questions for John with regard to the change
John,
in zoning?
John, I know we used to worry about 5 acres. Starts out at 5, but that included the right-of-ways of the roads. Qualifies.
Correct.
I'll make the motion that we approve the resolution. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? A second.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the change in zoning. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we'll hear from Youth Services.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Beth Beavers. I'm Director of the Department of Corrections, and that encompasses, for you new ones, probably not for two of you, the Juvenile Detention Center, the 25th Judicial District Youth Services, and the 25th Judicial District Community Corrections, which is referred to as Adult Corrections. So the first thing on the agenda, I want to apologize. I got my advisory boards mixed up on the memorandum. The Youth Services Advisory Board is 3-year term, not a 2-year term. So I'm asking for approval this morning to appoint Captain Jeff Steele from the Finney County Sheriff's Department to serve on that board. This seat was formerly occupied by the former Sheriff Mike Warren.
Okay, and this is a 3-year term.
This is a 3-year term.
Commissioners, any questions on appointing the recommended person, Captain Jeff Steele, for a 3-year term, which begins when and ends when?
It begins. April. I don't have a specific day other than April.
So we're gonna assume it's April
Through March of
25 to March 31st of 28.
28.
Very good. Motion?
I so move.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to appoint Captain Jeff Steele to a 3-year term on the Judicial District Youth Services Advisory Board, commencing in April of 2025 and ending March 31st of 2028. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. When you volunteer, you're likely to get appointed. Continue, please, Beth.
The next thing on the agenda is the FY25 Adult Corrections Budget Adjustment. This is one of the first years that we've actually had money that's going to be left over. This is grant money, so if we don't use it, we will lose it. I identified on here, tried to do 1 year or one-time items on that. If you could go to the next. So we don't have any reoccurring expenses on this. The biggest item is for a purchase of a new vehicle. This is to replace a 2012 Chevy Cruze that's got high miles. Our officers go to all 6 of the counties in the 25th Judicial District, which is a little over 200 miles, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on court. The other items are just items that are just in need of replacement that we haven't been able to purchase in years past due to grant restraints and then carryover. Any questions?
This is a matter that we need to have suggested action then on to approve the corrected budget adjustment for fiscal year 2025.
Yes, Commissioner, we need signatory approval on that per statute. Anything over 5,000 needs the host county's approval.
Need a motion to approve the change in the budget of what the chairman assigned.
I so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the budget correction and the chairman to sign. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
2012, I think you got your use out of it, Beth.
It's still going, but it's not reliable.
Okay, don't go anywhere, Beth. You're up for the next item on our our business agenda, the Community Corrections Comprehensive Plan.
Yes, this is for the FY '26 adult comp plan. This is the actual comp plan and the budget itself. So the first 6 pages of the grant that I submitted is all administrative, so it's contacts, addresses, advisory board. We get into the actual program itself on page 7. And just to give you the different divisions that adult corrections has, we have the intensive supervision program, which is the supervision, what we typically refer to as probation. We also have a program provider program. This program teaches anything that is going on that we need, whether it's social media, whether it's a finance budgeting. That is a part-time position. And then we also have a substance abuse outpatient program as well. This grant only covers the program and the intensive supervision. So to start out on page 7, one of the main goals for all of the corrections in the state is to achieve a 75% success rate. This was the first year that we did not achieve that. In FY '24, we did a 62% success rate. Some of the factors we attributed that to was lack of training by the state. So there's several certifications that the ISOs need to have. It's typically taking about 8 months to get an officer fully trained. So part of that are the offenders being over-supervised or under-supervised. One of the other factors that we identified was the need for drug and alcohol and the need for mental health. We have the resources in the community. There's just such an overwhelming need that they can't get in a timely manner. So any questions on the ISP portion? On page 8, we had some programmatic changes. We've had several turnovers of our ISOs. We had one that their sole goal was to go into law enforcement, so we lost them to law enforcement. We lost one to parole, and then we had one ISO pass away. So with that turnover, not getting into trainings, we're just not fully trained. On page 10, part of the grant is our behavioral health services grant. This is a little over $61,000. This funds mental health evaluations, treatment, sex offender evaluations and treatment, anger management, and the batterers program, and it covers also psychotropic meds for our offenders. So that pays 100% of those services. It removes one of those barriers for our offenders to get treatment. Any questions on that?
I do have a question, but going back to your staff deal, why do you think that you lost an employee to parole?
They pay almost $10 more an hour. We start out at $18.26. Parole and court services start out at a little over $29 an hour.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Pretty much had an idea already, but I just wanted to.
Yeah. We've actually lost over the years 4 employees to those programs. And then lastly, we move on to the budget, and that's actually page 15 of the packet. No, the only staffing change we have is last year we put in an extra ISO, so we'd have 5 ISO positions. In taking a look at our numbers and talking with staff, our numbers are manageable with 4. So for FY '26, we took that back down to 4 ISOs, which we have had for many years. This frees up money for our operational expenditures. The other thing on here, I do have that replacement vehicle that I put in for the FY '26 prior to putting in the budget adjustment. So we will see a budget adjustment before you guys again in FY '26 to move that money. Any questions?
Well, when I get to the grant signatory approval portion, it appears that you need both my signature and the administrator's signature on that part.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, do you have any questions on the comprehensive plan? Motion needs to include authorization for signature by the chairman and the administrator.
I so move.
Is there a second? Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the comprehensive plan for signature by the chairman and the administrator. Any further comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We can hand this down to the administrator, please. Anything else, Beth?
For the adult, I do not. If you're ready to move on to the youth services comp plan, I'm ready. All right, last item. This is for the FY '26 Juvenile Services Program. This services has 4 divisions under that. One of that is the intake and assessment program. That program does intakes and referrals on any youth that come in for, whether it's truancy, whether it's those police protective children, arrested, NTAs, and then parent or teacher referrals. And that's for any services, whether it's mental health, whether it's programming. We also have the intensive supervision program and the case management. So the intensive supervision is the probation side. Case management is that supervision when youth are released from the juvenile correctional facility. And then we also have the intermediate intervention program, which most of you would know as the diversion program. We also have a prevention program, and that is county funded. That is one position that offers free educational services to any children in Finney County, whether it's a parent referral or a school referral. So, on page 11, we'll start out. The first 10 pages are the administrative section. In FY '24, we had 336 intakes under the intake and assessment program. This program we have, they are all part-time positions. They usually happen in the evenings and weekends when they are more available to parents to come in for. And it generally takes, if you want to put a time to that, an hour and a half to 2 hours for an intake to be completed. So any questions on the intake and assessment?
I just saw that your completion rate was 87% versus 62 for adults.
Yes,
Might as well, shout out your good numbers.
that is true. That is true. On the ISP program and the case management program, we had an 88% successful rate on that. No changes for FY '26. The program's moving well. There's no statutory changes at this time in the legislature for that. I think we see some possibly coming up in the next week or so.
Is the veto session actually going to take up and hear the juvenile justice bill, or?
It says, our lobbyist says they said they will, but we'll see on, are you referring to House Bill 2235 and 39?
There's some major revisions that the governor didn't like, and now it's a question of whether the legislature is going to overrule her.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be watching. We have some pretty big changes on the horizon for juveniles. Part of that is they're going back and kind of changing that Senate Bill 367 from 2016, moving from 45-day sanction days up to 90 days sanction days. So we'll see some changes. Also some with the juvenile detention on how we handle some billing and youth in the detention center as well.
Isn't part of that, Beth, though, that we want to identify violent offenders and then detain them rather than put them in foster care?
Correct. Yep, part of that. There is a big swing over the past 3 years. There is more kinship placement. And then part of that, for the billing, KDOC will be, they're asking for KDOC to pay for emergency shelter placement of youth as a detention alternative.
Other questions for Beth on the
Kinship
youth side of this?
placement. What, now you explain that.
A relative, so whether it's a distant relative.
So you think that we'll need to go ahead with the expansion on the JDC down?
Yes. Yes, with the 45 to 90 day, if that passes, and the numbers are just increasing. Wintertime is, of course, a smaller average daily population, but spring and summer, we do see an increase.
Do they define kinship the same as they do on the child in need of care side? I mean, where it can be a person well-known to the child as well, such as a teacher or perhaps a pastor or something like that?
I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the NTA process, can you tell us why the Finney County Sheriff and Garden City Police Department are the only ones not utilizing that?
We've had several meetings with the police department and the county attorney. We've made huge strides over the past probably 8 months. We are finally to a point where they're going to start using, and the NTA is a notice to appear, so it's essentially like a ticket. So rather than being detained in the detention center or having to sit with them, they can issue this notice to appear. A copy goes to us, a copy stays with them, and one goes to the parent. And it just notifies them, you need to contact us for an intake and assessment. I can't tell you for sure exactly why that process wasn't being utilized. I can just say we're making strides
Okay,
in getting that.
all right, thank you.
Anything else for Beth with regard to the youth? The motion needs to include approval or signature by the chairman and by the administrator.
I'll make a motion to approve the juvenile comprehensive plan and authorize the chairman, is that the only,
No, and the administrator.
and the administrator to sign.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the juvenile comprehensive plan. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners.
All right, now we'll get to move on to noxious weeds.
Go from noxious.
Good morning. Jerry Hahn, Noxious Weed Director. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to review and authorize the chairman to sign for the 2025 KDOT agreement for spraying noxious weeds within their right-of-way.
Pretty much same as last year.
Yes, sir.
Madam Counselor, have you had a chance to review the contract?
I did.
You approve?
On the pricing for that one, it indicates that it's good until September unless they go up or down between then. Is that typical?
The September is usually kind of our cutoff time for when we try to get them done spraying. So I don't know if that's just something that they wanted, that the price increase, it would just be for the duration of the contract.
All right, if they don't have any other questions, then we need a motion to approve the contract and direct the chairman to sign.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the contract for state right-of-way. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll sign it. Continue with your next one.
Next one is to consider the acceptance of the 2 herbicide bids. This year we sent out for 3 bids and we just received the 2 back. And what we normally try to do is accept the 2 as there, so based off of price and availability.
Okay, we're following your lead on this one. We used to have Farmer Brown here, Dwayne Drees, and he would know exactly whether this was a decent price or not.
Correct.
You've researched this, and this is your recommendation to us?
Yes, these prices come in very considerably lower than what we kind of thought the start of the year was going to be, and they honored these prices for quite some time. So usually what we do is just get together with these 2, find the best price and availability, and then we go ahead and order.
All right, very good. Any other questions from the commission?
Do you do it, Gary, by per item or the whole thing?
It's usually per item. We usually get a better rate on per item. That's why we don't normally put in here how much we try to order. We just try to do the best that we can, because sometimes we'll do orders towards the end of the year depending on what we sell. And if we did that without accepting them, then we'd have to resend them out for bids. So by the time we might get the chemicals, they wouldn't be available for sale.
How do you limit how much each individual farmer buys, or how do you do that?
Right now, we're at a 60-gallon limit per chemical, per customer visit. It seems to be working out. It kind of had a little bit of resistance at the beginning, but it's seemed to be kind of leveled out now. This way we kind of carry our chemicals throughout the year, and then that everybody gets a fair chance of getting their fair share.
Well, the reason I was asking this is because when I went to the Scott County Commission meeting, several weeks ago, that was one of the issues they were trying to deal with. And I told the guy to get in touch with you.
Yes, and he did.
Okay.
So he does a lot better with the pre-emergent. For us, we're post. With pre-emergence, we can't really regulate how much they purchase. It would just be a large amount. They would want to try to cover every single acre, whereas we just try to facilitate just the noxious weeds within their,
Good.
All right. Help me out. Did we approve the KDOT transportation weed contract?
Yes.
I'll sign it then. And then what's up here is the purchase. Authorizing the purchase and approve a bid.
I move that we approve the request for purchase of chemicals for noxious weeds.
On alternative number 1, sir?
Let me scroll down and find what it says, but yes, I'll trust you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I think right now we need to be clear.
Pardon? Never mind. Number 1.
Number 1, thank you. And my question, is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of the bids. Question for the administrator, budget authorization, there's current budget for this allocation for the chemical purchase? Yes, sir. Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Would you hand this back to the clerk, please? Thank you. Anything else, Gary?
no, that's it. Thank you.
We'll next hear from Kaylee.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kaylee Jones, Finney County Road and Bridge Operations Coordinator. The The Board of Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the purchase of 3 pickup trucks for the Public Works Department. 2 of those would be for Road and Bridge, 1 for the Noxious Weed Department. I come to you earlier and you asked me to go back out for bids. So we sent bids to all local people. We advertised in the paper. We followed the purchasing policy and received no bids back. So the options that I have for you today is alternative 1, to go ahead and approve the state contract bid from Shawnee Mission Ford for $95,000 to be paid out of Road and Bridge Equipment Reserve Fund, $1,300 to be paid from the Road and Bridge Fund, and $50,023 to be paid out of the Noxious Weed Capital Outlay Fund. Or alternative 2, to reject the state contract bid and redirect us on how you would like us to try to move forward.
You need these pickups right away.
I do. You've seen the ones parked down there that we're trying, Kara and Gary and I are working to get all the legal stuff worked out for auction. And so we're very limited on pickups right now.
Questions for the commissioners?
I just have a comment. At least I feel like we did do our due diligence and put it out there for local people. So it's unfortunate that we didn't get any local bids, but
Apologize for the delay, but I thought it was the right thing
That's-
to do. Anything else? Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve, number 1, to approve the state contract from Shawnee Mission Ford.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded in stereo. Who is taking it for the minutes? Is it Mike? Yeah. Okay. We're good. Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1 to make the purchases from Shawnee Mission Ford as outlined in our presentation at page 232 of the agenda. Is there any further discussion? The funding mechanism is stated on the fiscal and policy impact. All those funds are available, Mr. Administrator? Yes, sir. All right, very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna
Thank you.
next hear from Mackenzie Phillips on a KDOT agreement.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. This morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider the approval of the agreement with the Kansas Department of Transportation for the 2026 Off-System Bridge Project. The Off-System Bridge Program is a federal program administered by the Kansas Department of Transportation, also known as KDOT, that provides funding for the construction and construction engineering costs for the replacement or rehabilitation of eligible bridges located on roads that are not part of the federal aid system. In 2024, the Public Works Department applied to this program for funding to replace the Ravenna Bridge and was awarded a total of $900,000 for the replacement of this bridge. And to give you a little bit more background, this is a bridge that we've applied for this program multiple times in the past, and just this last go-around received funding. The $900,000 awarded can only be used for the construction and construction engineering. The county is responsible for any costs related to the design, utility relocation, or right-of-way acquisition. The design of the replacement bridge was completed in 2024 by Wilson & Co. Engineering. However, additional revisions may need to be made to the design to comply with KDOT's bidding standards. And that the reason for that is because we had received funding through a different program. There's the Off-System Bridge Program, and then there's the Kansas Local Bridge Program that we received funding for that by the previous, the last department head that we had. He did decide to return that funding because it didn't cover the cost of the design, but we moved forward with the design, so that's why we have a design completed right now.
Yeah, I think these both dovetail together, that we need to approve the grant, but we also then turn around and increase our local cost with Kirkland Michaels.
That's for the next two. The next two are the Kansas Water Office and the Kirkland-Michael one. This one's for the bridge program. So this one, you did approve the project programming request on September 27th of 2024. So this today is just to approve the actual agreement with the Kansas Department of Transportation, outlining what their responsibilities are and what the county's responsibilities are.
As I looked at this contract, it only has, are all members of the commission required to sign, or just the chairman?
This one, I believe all the members are supposed to sign.
I've added lines to the contract.
You added blanks?
Yes, I did.
Mine doesn't have the blanks.
Yeah, when they send it over, we're not allowed to make any changes, and a lot of the counties have only 3 commissioners, so they usually put just the 3 lines. So,
Never want to be efficient, do they? Let's put that. Questions for Mackenzie on the KDOT agreement on the off-system bridge program? You're asking us to approve alternative number 1, correct?
correct.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1 as set forth on page 242 of our agenda, and the contract to be signed by all of the commissioners. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll sign.
Thank you.
Don't go very far.
I won't.
We'll get our homework done. We'll move on.
Sounds good.
I think this will be a real good time for a break, and we'll be back in session at 9:30. Thank you. Call the commission back to order. The first thing is that at the request of the clerk, we're going to have a brief period of public comment. One of our duly sworn officers would like to address us. Ms. Crockett?
I'm Corporal Crockett, Ashley Crockett from the Finney County Sheriff's Office. Earlier this year, I obtained my DARE certification. I don't know if you guys are familiar with DARE. It's drug education. I did Jenny Barker, 5th and 6th grade, first semester, and I just completed Ply Mills, and we'll have a DARE graduation on April 23rd at 2, and I'd like to invite you. I have flyers.
Would you hand them out, please?
Yes.
Amongst the commissioners, I'm looking for a volunteer to attend the DARE graduation party.
I already have it on my schedule, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I don't have any, but I'm glad to advise that Commissioner Basque will be present for your graduation.
Thank you very much.
I would like to point out officially that Ashley Crockett is one of the rock stars from the Finney County Sheriff's Office.
I didn't know you could use Rockstar anymore. They always tell us on those.
That's what they say.
Yeah, those commercials, can't use that anymore.
Whoever they are,
I don't know who they are. It's
very good.
I'm from the generation that still refers to it as rock star.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Deputy Crockett. And thanks for keeping us safe. All right, we're going to get back to the business agenda. And Mackenzie, thank you for the brief interlude. I didn't want the sheriff held up here.
No problem. Good morning again, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development Administrative Coordinator. So this morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider the approval of the grant agreement with the Kansas Water Office for the Technical Assistance Program. The Water Technical Assistance Grant Program is administered by the Kansas Water Office and is part of an initiative by Governor Laura Kelly and the Kansas legislature to address the various water issues identified in the Kansas Water Plan. The Public Works Department applied to the grant program in September of 2024 for the engineering design of the expansion of Sewer District 1 to address environmental issues due to failing septic systems at the Nancy Ave apartments. In February 2025, Finney County was selected to receive $165,000 towards technical assistance for the design of the Sewer District 1 expansion project, and that was the total amount that we did apply for. So before you this morning, you have two alternatives, and I'm going to slightly adjust what the wording says in your memo. So the alternatives are to either approve the grant agreement as drafted, because we don't have a copy that is in draft form. So approve the grant agreement as drafted with the Kansas Water Office for the technical assistance project and authorize the chairman to sign the final agreement, or to decline the grant agreement with the Kansas Water Office as drafted. And we do recommend alternative 1. So the fiscal and policy impact of this project, so the county was awarded $165,000 for the technical assistance. Any fees that are accrued past that $165,000 will be the responsibility of the owner of the Nancy Ave apartments or any other of the property owners along that expansion that would like to be part of this project. And as a side note, we are going to be looking at doing a community meeting for the property owners in this area to inform them on the project that will be upcoming to see if they would like to be involved in this project.
When do you have a timeline for that informational meeting in Commissioner Gurman's district?
We do not have a timeline at this moment, but we will inform you of that when we get that scheduled.
Questions from from the commission?
So if we approve this today, then those owners in that area will have to abide by that, or will they decide that at their later time meeting if they want to be a part of that project?
The one that has dedicated it to this project is that owner of the Nancy Avenue Apartments. So right now, and we've had a discussion with her, she would be responsible for anything over that 165,000, which we are next. You are going to see the Kirk and Michael agreement before you, which that right now is coming under that 165,000. But that doesn't take into account any additional like electrical engineering for the lift stations that are going to be proposed.
So that owner is aware that they may be responsible for those issues.
Yes, and that's part of the reason for the community meeting also, to see if anybody else is interested in joining at this time. We would also look at when we do create the expansion, that anybody who would like to get onto that expansion in the future would need to pay a fee towards that, so that they're not just getting on without paying into that area of the district.
Questions from the commissioners? The grant technical assistant application you're asking us to approve and sign?
Yes, approve the draft, or approve it as drafted, and then to authorize the chairman to sign the final agreement once we receive it.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Let's go ahead and take that up. Is there a motion to that effect?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve alternative one.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1, which is the grant application for technical assistance, and the chairman to sign. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. When it's in final form, I'll approve it. Next.
So next before you, we have the contract with Kirk and Michael to perform the preliminary engineering for the water technical assistance project of the expansion of Sewer District 1. The contract total is for additional services, so this is additional services. So this is in addition to what they already provide us as the county engineer. And that total is $140,000 at this time. Kirk and Michael is familiar with this project and provided assistance with the application project for this grant application. So the alternatives before you this morning are the Board of County Commissioners may consider and approve the contract with Kirk and Michael to perform the preliminary engineering for the water technical assistance project of the expansion of Sewer District 1 and authorize the chairman to sign. Or the Board of County Commissioners may not consider and approve the contract with Kirk and Michael. And staff recommends alternative 1.
Questions from the commission?
Is this something that we should consider putting out for proposals?
So this project, like I stated in the memo, Kirk and Michael's very familiar with this project. Before Kirk and Michael was even our county engineer, they were approached by the owner of Nancy Avenue Apartments, so they've been involved from the very beginning. We also have, all of you haven't met him, but his name is Isaac Wright. He is the sewer, and the wastewater and water engineer for Kirk and Michael. So he has been involved in this from when we applied. And this is the second time we've also applied for this funding. So he's been very involved in this from the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve alternative.
I'm sorry, can I make one more comment? So the timeline that's listed in that agreement as well, it's going to be shifted by 3 weeks because of the fact that we were waiting on the agreement from the Kansas Water Office. And it does state within that agreement something that allows for that to be shifted. I'll let CW come up here real quick if you don't mind.
Part of this is just for the preliminary design, so we're trying to get the preliminary design done in order to apply for the construction grant this fall. So we're trying to hurry this along a little bit, because the grant opens up in, I think, September, or that's what it was last year. We're assuming that it'll be somewhat the same time this year. We should have a fairly solid design by that time to where we have a good estimate of what the construction cost would be. That's what the goal is.
Kevin, you renew your motion with the additional comments from staff and from the engineer?
I do.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1 as itemized on page 278 of our packet. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Give me a chance to get where I'm going. Good morning, please announce.
Good morning, Larry Brungart, right-of-way supervisor. This morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve awarding the bid for the 2025 crack sealing project. The Public Works Department advertised for the 2025 crack sealing project on February 25th, 2025. Bids were opened at 11 a.m. on March 25th, 2025 at the Public Works office. This year, we received 2 bids for the project. B&H Paving of Scott City, Kansas submitted a bid for $52,500, and Scodeller Construction submitted a bid for $135,000. Approximately 23 miles of road are planned to be crack sealed this year. The alternatives are the Board of County Commissioners may accept the bid from B&H Paving and authorize the chairman to sign the contract. Alternative number 2, the Board of County Commissioners may accept the bid from Scodeller Construction and authorize the chairman to sign the contract. Or number 3, the Board of County Commissioners may reject all bids. Recommendation from staff, alternative 1, accept the bid from B&H Paving and authorize the chairman to sign the contract. Fiscal impact, $52,500 to be paid out of the road and bridge budget.
Questions from commissioners? Yes, sir.
Probably the most glaring question is, what's the difference in?
Well, and we put this bid out by the pound, and B&H, which is located in Scott City, $1.75 per pound for 30,000 pounds of material. Scodeller, we were kind of surprised, but we received a bid from Scodeller Construction, and they are from
Minnesota, aren't they?
Michigan. They are from Wixom, Michigan. So I'm saying that's probably a little bit of little cost to locate here to do the job. So
Why would they bid a project down?
I don't know.
I don't either. Another question, are they doing the road between, well, it'd be Jones Avenue between Holcomb and Garden? Crack sealing?
No, that's not on this schedule this year, no.
The roads to be sealed are
Bigelow Road, Co-op Road.
Where is that?
Co-op is the Kearney County line, just on the west, south of the Highway 50. 50 Access Road, which is off of Bigelow, the frontage road going back towards Premier Homes. Towns Road, Old Post Road, Rolling Hills Road, and Weldon Road.
those miles are included on page 300 of the,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
And it's the same 23.43
or 3,
for each bid, correct?
right. Correct.
Other questions, commissioners? If not, a motion to approve the alternative number 1 as recommended by Larry and staff.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the B&H paving contract.
That's alternative number 1, sir.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1 for the B&H paving contract. Authorize the chairman to sign. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Bid a project. They just thought they'd pick one up.
Maybe they have to bid so many,
I don't know.
or they don't
That's
feel like they're
weird.
doing their job. Maybe they thought it was Garden City, Michigan.
Mr. Administrator, you have the floor with regard to the VRF contract.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Gary Meager, Interim County Administrator. On March 17th, the Commission heard from Drew Rose and Jeff Bogner. They presented an evaluation of the VRF system for 4 buildings. The VRF system is a heating and cooling system, and those buildings included the courthouse, library, county attorney's building, and the administration building. After the presentation, the Commission requested a contract be drafted between the county and Integrated Consulting Engineers, which the county councilor and I met with the principals of the Integrated Consulting Engineers. So that has been done. A copy of the contract is in your packet. The cost of the engineering, design modifications, and project management is based upon a percentage of the project. So the exact amount of the contract will be determined as they get farther into the design. The estimate for these services is between $210,800 and $231,200. There will be this will be paid from the Building Maintenance Reserve Fund 171 that currently has a balance of $2,196,077. So the recommendation or the alternatives you have is to accept the contract as presented. And I would mention, maybe I didn't mention this, but this is the same contract as you approved before. The only difference is if you look at page 3, there are two boxes that would need to be checked. We did agree that the first box would be deleted, but the alternatives today would be to accept the contract as presented, accept the contract with modifications, or deny the contract and redirect staff to an alternative action.
Am I to check mark those 2 boxes?
Yes, sir.
Design modifications and project management?
Yes, sir.
The amounts are 5% for project cost and project management at 3%? And they are check marked and not submitted for signature.
Okay.
Questions for Gary on this part of the contract? I think my comment is that the library board should know that we are moving forward with fixing their system and getting the design work done. That's been a question of whether the library board is going to pay that independently, and I believe that the commission is moving forward with its desire to go ahead and pay for the cost of fixing the system in the library. Are there any other questions for the administrator? All right, all those in favor, let's have a motion then to approve the VRF contract with Integrated Consulting Engineers, Inc., alternative number 1.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the contract as revised and edited and ready for signature by the chairman. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, you still have the floor for insurance broker services.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. The commission expressed a desire earlier this year to select a broker for the placement of insurance services during the upcoming renewal. So on February 24th, 4 brokers were invited to submit a proposal for broker services. 3 brokers responded to the proposal, and those were reviewed on March 25th by a committee, the insurance committee, which is comprised of Commissioners Oots, Basque, the county clerk, the county treasurer, and myself. On March 31st, the committee interviewed the 3 brokers that provided proposals and the committee is recommending our insurance to represent the county in the upcoming renewal. The fee for Iron Insurance is $43,000 for the upcoming renewal as compared to
The other two fees, fee insurance proposed $25,000, and IMA initially proposed $75,000, but then after the interview, decreased it to $70,000. So give you a reference as to the fees that were. And now this will be a flat fee, so rather if our insurance costs go up, which insurance is probably going to go up, their fee will stay the same. So rather than being on a percentage, it's based on a flat fee. And all the brokers have experience with counties and cities. They also provide a variety of services, and I think that all of them are very capable of handling the renewal that the county wants to get done in earlier or later this year. So,
Gary, run through those fee amounts again, please.
okay, Iron Insurance is $43,000 for the upcoming renewal. Fee insurance is $25,000, and an IMA would be $70,000. So the alternatives you have would be to accept the recommendation of the committee, decline to accept the committee recommendation and make an alternate selection, or reject all proposals and direct staff to an alternative action. And the committee is recommending, again, Iron Insurance.
The renewal date's July 1st. We got to get moving on this.
Yes.
One way or the other. I'll hear from Commissioner Basque and Commissioner Utes as to the recommendation.
Well, it was a well overdue need for an RFQ for this, and it was a great representation from all three of the firms. They all provided different, they provided what we could use, some more, some less, and I think it was a unanimous decision to recommend Iron as our broker for this next few years.
Perhaps I could add that I think it was a good process because of the fact that I think we learned a little bit about the market. It's a hard market. I think we can probably expect some increases, plus the fact that I think there is a very limited number of carriers that are available. So that's just because of the market and because of the size of our the insurance that we request.
And excuse me, I think also, Gary, I think we also learned the need to identify when our HVAC systems, roofs, and that have been replaced, because that plays a great deal on the marketing for insurance premiums.
Correct.
The difference in the fee amounts, was that based strictly on services provided per firm, or?
Well, I think that Iron Insurance has been the broker that we have been using. The committee felt very comfortable with the fact that they had a local representative or representatives here that in past claims have showed up on scene and assisted at that moment. The other two were not local. And I think we just felt very comfortable with the service that we have been provided and what they offer in the future. I think it was kind of an eye-opening experience for me as a new commissioner to find out exactly, going into it, I thought with the bid process that there could possibly be some savings offered by the brokers and insurance coverage, but finding out that they basically all three use the same carriers. So I don't think the committee saw that there could be any savings by going with one broker over the other, and so then the only question is which broker, based off of their fee, that we wanted to go with, and we were very comfortable with Iron.
Yeah, I think they all provided the services that we would need. So,
There might be some minor differences, but for the most part, I think there are a lot of the basic services the county would need.
All right, motion then?
Can I'd have a request.
Yes.
Chairman, I know we have a couple of representatives from Iron Insurance here. They've been patiently waiting, so I'd just like to know if they have any comments or anything for us.
Morning, Trent, but the world doesn't know who you are, so please announce.
Yep, Trent Speck with Iron Insurance Partners. We're here, 3 owners, Gary Jarmer, Eric Keller, and Debbie Dill are here. We just want to tell you thank you for selecting us. We want to serve Finney County and the surrounding area, and we want to do a great job on the risk management. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Is there any further questions for Gary or anyone else? Then a motion to approve alternative number 1 as recommended.
Also move.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1. And I don't know that alternative 1 says with iron, so I'm going to make sure that our motion says iron.
I will so move that our motion to approve Iron Insurance as our broker.
That's your second also. Very good. I'm going to abstain, but I'm going to go ahead and call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. And abstain is me. Motion carries. Congratulations to the folks with iron. Thank you. All right.
The next item is the Executive Search Committee has done their work. On March 3rd, the commission approved a request for proposal to select a firm to assist the county with the search for a new county administrator. Invitation was sent to 6 firms, and 2 responded with proposals. One was Strategic Government Resources, or SGR, and the other one is Raptilus. The committee met on April 4th and interviewed representatives of the 2 firms and formed a recommendation to select Strategic Government Resources, or SGR, to assist the county with conducting a search for a county administrator. The cost that SGR proposed to conduct the search is a fee not to exceed $29,419. That is compared to the total fixed fee that Raptilus presented at $34,900. The alternatives that you have is to approve the search firm, which would be SGR, that was selected by the committee, recommended by the committee, or you can deny the search firm that is being recommended and selected by the committee, and perhaps ask the staff to get other proposals. We did have 6 proposals sent out, so we had a pretty good wide range of consultants that were selected to receive the proposals. Most of them were ones that would be working in this area.
All right. And we assigned some commissioners to look into this.
Yes.
I
Vice
could
Chairman?
speak to that, sir. So we did interview the 2, which I really thought that it might be more beneficial to go with Raptilus because I think they're the only ones who submitted the proposal for the
Organizational scan.
organizational scan.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember that term. And I thought maybe that would be a better idea to have them do both. As it turns out, it's 2 completely different teams, so it really didn't seem like it would be a benefit. When we did our interview with the 2 firms, honestly, SGR was far and away the best. We were very impressed with the team there. And as a bonus, they were less money, so I really feel comfortable with that decision.
And I think that the committee thought they had a better approach. They will come out during the kickoff, so they'll have somebody in person that will be meeting with all of you and stakeholders and whoever you feel is important for them to meet with, develop a community profile and have that done, whereas Raptillis was going to do everything virtually. So sometimes I think it is nice to be able to have a person here that gets to see the community and has a little bit better perspective as to the organization and what we have going on here.
Where are they located?
This particular, excuse me, I think I've got,
Keller, Texas.
what's that?
Keller?
Okay. So they've done searches in this area before? Or?
Yes, yeah. They do a lot. I've had some experience with them, not as an executive, but on other positions, department head positions, and they seem to do a good job.
This is not the firm that assisted the school district with the latest superintendent search.
Not that I'm aware of.
Very good.
They had a broad base of experience as well. Seemed like a pretty solid company with lots of experience. Both firms had more experience in searching for city managers as opposed to county administrators. I actually asked about that, and simply there are more city managers than there are county administrators. So, but I think they had, SGR had quite a bit of experience in rural areas, and I think that's going to be a big plus. Although they were hesitant to give an estimate how many applicants they thought we might receive, but they kind of gave a higher number than we anticipated, but that was completely off the cuff. But hopefully we'll get a good sampling of applicants.
And sometimes it's not quantity, but it's quality, so hopefully they can find some good candidates.
Very good. Any other discussion? I have a budget question in case our auditors are watching today. We have adequate resources to pay for this cost from general fund,
Yes, sir.
and that's the source of payment,
Yes, sir.
$29,419.
Yes, yes, sir.
County managers in western Kansas are rare. 'Cause not many counties do employ it. So it'll be interesting.
Madam Vice Chairman, your motion.
Sir, I would move to approve alternative one, accept the recommendation of the Executive Search Committee.
To use SGR,
Yes, I'm sorry, we should put that in the motion.
$29,419.
Correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to use SGR for executive search. Funding mechanism is general fund in the amount of $29,419. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Would let everyone remember that our interim administrator is with us for a period of time and that we need to get going on this. So whatever needs to be done to cut SGR loose and get this program going, Madam Vice Chair, if you would continue to make sure that the progress is being made on this project, I'd really appreciate it.
Yes, we did let them know that we would be making the decision, likely making the decision today, and asked about their availability, and they said that within probably 2 weeks, they would be able to get started, so we're glad to hear that.
They did, in their proposal, they provided a sample contract. I don't think it'll take much to get that in order. I don't know how you want to operate on that. Wait and put the contract before you at the next one, or,
Well, why don't we do it this way? If it's all right with you, Vicki, or Commissioner Gurman, why don't we authorize the chair to sign upon approval of the SGR contract by council. And let's put it in motion form so that we have it done.
Okay.
I would so move that we do that.
Thank you, sir. I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to have the chair sign the contract with SGR once approved by county council, as soon as it's done. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything we can do to move the process along? The last item on our business agenda is the 2024 inventory. I'm skipping
Wage
one.
study.
Well, there I go. We're going backwards and actually in line. We'll hear from Kelly Munyon regarding a comprehensive wage study. Please announce.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Kelly Munyon, Finney County Human Resource Director. So following feedback received during the priority setting work session and conversations with county administration, the board is being asked to consider issuing the attached request for proposal for a comprehensive wage study. Prior wage study recommendations have not been followed, and as a result, other wage studies and wage adjustments have been implemented in response to local and outer county competition. This has caused some Finney County positions to lag significantly. Some others have lagged slightly, and a few have remained at a competitive level. While acknowledging the gravity of a comprehensive wage study, I believe it is in the best interest of Finney County as an organization and all Finney County staff, current and future, to consider conducting this study in 2025. Finney County's, for a little background, the last two wage studies were conducted in 2013 by the Austin Peters Group and 2019 by the Arnold Group. Finney County then underwent job description updates and reformatting with AGH Employer Solutions out of Wichita, Kansas, mid-year of 2022, and we had that fully implemented by January of 2023. All Finney County staff had the opportunity to participate in and provide input onto their specific position job descriptions through direct communication with the AGH team. Department directors and participating elected officials then approved final documents as presented by AGH, and those are what we are still using today. The most recent changes to the county wages were adjusted by county administration at the end of 2023. We did get those fully implemented January of 2024. The specific changes at that time were select position market increases, and some of those have had multiple increases since. We did review and regrade a majority of job positions, increased wage adjustments for all employees' positions, and slightly addressed some compression at that time. And then we did make updates to the pay scale that the board did approve. Specifically, we divided it into 4 different scales: a health scale, a public works scale, a law enforcement scale, and then an all others. So the alternatives before you today are to approve the issuance of the request for proposal for a comprehensive wage study as presented, deny the presented request for proposal for a comprehensive wage study and direct staff to make any changes as directed by you, deny the request to send out a request for proposal, and continue with the pay scale and compensation policies that are in place today. Staff would recommend option 1. At this time, there's no fiscal impact to the county. And again, there would be a selection committee, interviews conducted, and then we would come back to the entire board with a recommendation.
All right. Amongst ourselves, I think everyone's leaning towards approving the issuance of an RFP. My question is, who wants to serve on the committee to review the proposals once received?
I'll volunteer.
And so would I.
That's a nice job, commissioners. When you volunteer, you get appointed. Mr. Administrator, I serve that you would like to serve on that. Yes, sir. And as well as Kelly and anyone else. Do you want one elected to serve?
We could, yes, if one of the county clerk or county treasurer would be willing to serve.
Any volunteers, Madam Clerk?
Yeah.
Why don't we have both of them, if that's okay?
You know, in the past, we've had treasurer, clerk. I don't know that we've had anybody from Register of Deeds. Is any of those other ones that haven't been so involved on a committee interested in being on a committee, or? Instead of, I mean, I've enjoyed being with Dory and with Trista, but I'm wondering if any of the others might have some interest in participating on a selection committee.
I can volunteer before I have to make the appointment. The appointment is yourself, Mr. Basque, and you will chair this. Commissioner Utes, the clerk, the the treasurer, the administrator, and Kelly. You guys bring us back a recommendation after these come back. I have received many emails from commissioners around the state on the KAC stuff that the Arnold Group has been kicking it through the goalposts, so to speak. So, but we'll see whether they respond to us. Okay. But you're it, Commissioner Basque, and get it done, please. And let's go ahead then and approve the issuance of an RFP for a comprehensive wage study. Is there such a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And is there a second?
I so second.
I thought there was going to be more than 1 second.
There almost was.
So, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The committee's appointed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kelly. All right, now, in order, Madam Clerk, the inventory.
All right, pursuant to KSA 192687, the Board of County Commissioners is responsible for the inventory of the county. Here in Finney County, the Board of County Commissioners has bestowed that duty onto the department heads. So each department head is provided with an inventory each year for their department. They are then responsible to validate and update the inventory either themselves or with their designee. And then a completed inventory is provided to the clerk's office, and then we can consolidate that into the report. I've got a copy of it here if you'd like to see it, but it was also provided to you electronically. The inventory was presented on the 17th, but we were missing several commissioners at that time, so we're representing it today. So at this time, your alternatives are to certify the December 31st, 2024 Finney County inventory as presented, or do not certify the inventory and direct staff in additional inventory activities. And I would recommend number 1.
Thank you. And are there any questions for the clerk or about the inventory? My only question to the administrator and to Kaylee is, how soon can we have our equipment sale?
We're working out the agreements with the vendor that will advertise, and once we get that done, which should be shortly, we can get that posted.
All right, very good. Any other questions for the administrator or the clerk? Hearing none, motion to approve.
I would make a motion that we certify the 2024 Finney County inventory as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1 as set forth in page 321 of our agenda, certifying the inventory as submitted. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Used electronic equipment, is there any market for that?
No. Remember, I got my laptop from a recycle. It works just fine, however. The only problem that my laptop has is operator error.
Well, I remember when we were swapping out radio systems. My Lord, were they expensive to buy, and then
Can you get it right?
nothing.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hear from staff reports. Mackenzie? Time for aerobics.
Good morning again, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. So I have a few updates for you this morning. First, per request of the Chairman at the last development update, there are updated aerials for you in your packet today of both Country Acres and the Western Kansas Corridor. So if you can see on there, you see on Western Kansas Corridor that there's the Frito-Lay warehouse building, and then also Mavericks on there. And then on Country Acres, you see that there's 3 houses currently being built. The next update I have for you is about the Southwest Kansas Highway Officials meeting that was canceled 2 or 3 weeks ago due to the blizzard that we had. So we did reschedule that meeting. It is going to be this Thursday, April 10th, and it's going to be at our fairgrounds, the Finney County Fairgrounds at the 4-H building. So all of you are welcome to attend. The agenda has been shortened a little bit. We haven't been able to get all of the speakers that we originally had planned, but it will go through a little after lunch. So, and we will send out that agenda for you to see. It's the same starting time as the previous agenda was.
I do appreciate the updated pictures, especially Country Acres, because it's nice to know where they're building those houses.
Yes. And sorry, I do have one more update for you, and it's about the Northwest Industrial District. We just wanted to let you know, so we have been talking with a lot of the property owners about this project. We came into a little bit of an unintended snafu, I guess. With conversations with Bruckner's, even though we had previous support for the project, they aren't quite satisfied with the one-way entrance only from solar going from 2-way to 1-way. And so we came up with a couple different alternatives just to see if those would work instead of just making it 1-way. So the alternatives would be, the first alternative is as we proposed, and basically if they had any trucks with trailers, that would exit through TA's property and then to that Eclipse Avenue there on the back. The second alternative, which the more that we have looked at it, we're not, and if you have questions, CW can kind of answer those a little bit more. It's not necessarily an alternative that we recommend. It's basically keeping solar 2-way. It's still moving that entrance to Solar Avenue a little bit to the west, and TA's traffic would still go to Eclipse Avenue, but we foresee issues with that intersection still being very congested. And so the third alternative is that if Bruckner's is unwilling, and let me back up just one second. So that second alternative, the addition of that lane is an additional $100,000, possibly $100,000 that wasn't anticipated. So the proposal would be then that Bruckner's and/or TA would be responsible for that additional cost that was not anticipated originally. And then the third alternative is that if Bruckner still isn't satisfied with either one of those first alternatives, the county then at that point would give them a nice new surfaced road, so do a mill and overlay of the road, get rid of some of the potholes that are currently there, and then vacate that road and give that land then back to Bruckner's and TA to maintain in the future. So if you have any questions about that, you might see more about this in the future. If Bruckner's isn't completely in favor of providing the funding for Alternative 2, although they are in favor of Alternative 2, they might be coming before you to ask for funding for that additional $100,000. But just so that you're aware, that's where we are right now in the discussions with the property owners.
Okay, we'll deal with the cost of that when the recommendation is made by both the engineer and yourself, in further correspondence with Bruckner's. We'll take all the alternatives up then. It doesn't do us any good to try to publicly negotiate as we go on the method by which is in the best interest of the county and fair to the rest of the people up there. Bruckner's do not and are not in a position to dictate what we're going to do, period. So you can carry the mail if you like.
Okay. Yes, of course. Any other questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Administrator, you have a report, sir.
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to introduce Nolan Thill. Nolan came to work for us last week. He's our building maintenance director, and he has experience. He was working recently with the city. I think he was with the city for about 4 to 5 years as a park superintendent. And he's got quite a bit of experience working in Colorado and here. So I wanted to introduce him because I don't know that all of you have had a chance to meet him and to maybe address Commissioner Utz's comment. We are looking at trying to do a better job documenting repairs and replacements of various parts of buildings and things like that. And so he'll help us with getting that process set up. So I don't know if there's anything you want to say, Nolan?
No, just really excited to be here. It's 1 week today, so.
All right, let's get you in the habit of saying my name.
Oh, my name is Nolan Till, Director of Building Maintenance.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Questions, commissioners?
No, welcome, Nolan. I provided Gary with some information on some software available to help facilitate identifying how old the roofs are, whether someone needs something done. So there's some venues here. I think we spoke with the college as well, and they have some programs as well. So you have two local entities that, if you're interested, feel free to reach out to the college or the school district.
Excellent.
And I would just like to say, when we were going through our insurance brokers, I think one of the things that we learned is the importance of being proactive in the maintenance and upkeep and kind of a general program of making sure that our roofs and buildings are updated and maintained, because it possibly could have some savings for us down the road. So if there's anything that this commission can do to help, of course, it probably will require some future funding to make that happen, but I think in the end run, it could end up saving us money in repairs, but maybe even in some insurance savings. That's one of the good things about being on that committee was for me.
Yeah, preventive maintenance is huge. It's something that most people don't think about, but that can give longevity to every asset you have.
All right, anything else?
I have a comment. I received a call from Lance Rupp, who I believe you worked with on the Garden Rapids at the big pool. High praises from Lance, and if you know Lance, that's not easy to get. So, but I am thrilled that you have accepted this position. I'm sure the city was sad to see you go, but welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It is nice to see somebody go the opposite direction, the city to the county, as opposed to us losing folks to the city or to the state. So.
Amen.
Anything else, Commissioner Jones?
No,
All right,
welcome.
Nolan, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nolan.
Commissioners, another item. Recently, you discussed the annual cleanup, and it was approved to have an annual cleanup day on April 4th and April 11th. We also had received a request to perhaps extend those days so that we also have the landfill open on April 7th and April 14th for a free, basically taking material out to the landfill. We contacted the landfill operator to find out if we could extend it to those 2 additional days, the 7th and the 14th. They indicated that they would not waive the fees for those days. So right now, the way it stands, the 4th, which was on Friday, and on the 11th will be the only days that it will be free for people to take unwanted materials out to the landfill. And you know, we would have to maybe start this process a little bit earlier, talk with the landfill. The indication is the landfill probably isn't interested in opening up for additional days because of loss of revenue.
Okay, so April 11th is our last day, correct?
That's correct.
All
Another item that we have is we would like to have a work session on April 28th from 8 a.m. to 11:45 a.m., and that would be for the purpose of revisiting the work that you've done on the governance model, where there was some work done previously, but this would be to focus on vision and values and the priorities, making sure that we have all those in place. So if that works with your schedule, we would schedule that. And then at 11:45, we would have start a luncheon with the cities, City of Holcomb, City of Garden City, to have a city-county meeting from noon to 1:30 p.m. And that would be here in this room.
I think it's an excellent idea, and we'll discuss it amongst ourselves and set that meeting by motion and agreement for a joint meeting with the cities.
Okay. And then the only other...
Gary, real quick, were we going to reconvene on the workshop if we didn't get the strategic goals finished up? We had discussed that in the afternoon.
In the afternoon that day. That would be up to the commissioners if they have time later after the city-county meeting. We could certainly do that.
Yeah, just for edification, I think the committees met and we've discussed the mission statement, the vision statement, core values, and that should not take long. But when we start looking at our strategic goals, there's a lot of time that would be consumed in that.
Well, and it also includes our budget priorities for 2026.
Correct. Thank you.
And we will have a agenda planning that day also, so.
Correct, but I don't know where we're gonna squeeze that in.
Probably towards the end of the day, I would guess.
I suppose. All right.
So we're planning on a work session starting at 8:30 that morning?
8 o'clock that morning.
8:30.
8:30, okay. And then at 11:45, we would adjourn for the city-county meeting and then reconvene after 1:30.
Okay, can we have lunch at 11:30 though?
We could. If the only thing that the city's requested is some of their members work, and they want to try to have it as close to noon as possible.
All right, well, we'll start lunch at 11:45 then.
Okay.
We'll try to meet the needs of our other two cities. Need a motion to schedule a joint meeting with the City of Holcomb and City of Garden City for April 28th at 11:45.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It was seconded to have a joint meeting with our city partners in government, City of Holcomb, City of Garden City, here in the county building, commencing at 11:45 on the 28th of April. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll put that on the agenda, and Mr. Meager and you and Jenny and Matt, the three administrators, work out the agenda, please.
We will. Thank you.
All right. Anything else on your report?
No, sir.
Any questions for the administrator?
Maybe just one particular comment. I've received some correspondence with some folks about who to contact for cleanup in the riverbed area. I know that in the past, I think the Sagebrush Homeowners Association has conducted some cleanups in the riverbed. The contact that I had recently was maybe first abandoned homeless encampments on the east side of the Main Street Bridge, and who to contact, and I recommended that they contact Public Works. However, I was just wondering if there's any possibility that we could encourage our Public Works to work with I can't remember who it was now that I advised to contact them, but also with the Sagebrush Homeowners Association to maybe assist and conduct another cleanup of the riverbed area that has been done in the past. I'm just wondering if that's something that we we could prioritize to have done to ask our public works to do, to assist with just equipment.
Sure, I can talk with Public Works. I don't know what's been done in the past. That's state property and so, or controlled by the state, I should say, is federal property.
We talked earlier about Lance Rope. I think he's been kind of the coordinator of that cleanup in the past.
Yeah.
'Cause I've had conversations with him in the past when I was shooting.
How are they gonna enforce those encampments down there?
It's state property, so it's very difficult for us to enforce it.
There's one, and I know the one on the west side of the bridge.
Just right there by the pond, the old pond, yeah.
Yeah, and it's.
But you take a trip around the zoo and they got two south of the zoo,
I
just
think-
across into the, probably the high water mark, but although that's not near as clear as the encampment to the west.
You would think between the city and the county, we could figure out some way to get those.
I think our county counselor has
Taken
some
care
thoughts
of.
on that.
Well, for some of those, I think you have to be a little careful as well, because it is state property, and you do have, some of those encampments aren't quite abandoned at this point, so if you are having anybody down there, you're about gonna have to coordinate with the sheriff's office as well, so that you're not running into any other issues with those encampments that are there.
Yeah, I would think one of the problems you could have is if they're not abandoned and we went down and we cleaned up items, those items are really in their possession, so it could create some issues that way too.
But when they haul in vehicles on trailers and unload them there to live in, that's.
The last I heard, the sagebrush owners did make contact with Bob Lewis, and there was some discussion about whether or not the state could give some control back to the county in order to be able to do a bit more down there in the riverbed, especially considering the unique situation that we're facing here, in that it's a navigable river, but with no water. So it just creates a little different situation for us here. It's gonna take some time before, obviously, they can get to that. That's probably the beginning of next year before they could even get to anything at the state legislature level for that. So just a lot of issues to navigate with that particular.
Well, as they start growing.
Correct.
Well,
probably will.
They
Yeah,
have,
I think
there's several of them.
I think a start now is a good start for, well, when I say tomorrow, I mean next year or whatever, but currently, we don't have any ability to do anything. So if they would be able to get some local control back to enforcement or whatever, that would be amazing if we could get that happening even next year or 2 years from now.
Well,
There's nothing currently exists.
And I don't like the comments that we can't do anything about it, because I think in discussions I was engaged with the PD, the Sheriff's Office, and Kansas Wildlife and Parks, it is a state issue. And there was discussion about reaching out to the Attorney General's office, who has the authority to take care of some of the statutory requirements, because it is a state issue. And I think we should encourage our counselor to reach out to the Attorney General's office for assistance in this problem, because I keep hearing from, and it's not my district, but I keep hearing from a lot of friends down there that they pulled in a camper and trash is being thrown all over the place. So it's also a health and environment issue as well. So I from my experience, don't ever say there's nothing we can do. There is something we can do, and we should try and make our efforts known that we don't support this type of, or condone this type of activity, but our control of it as a county is limited. However, we can refer it or defer it.
And I know we've done some internal attempts at reaching out as far as that goes as well, and Sagebrush HOA and residents have reached out. We've encouraged them to reach out as well, because I believe that having a wider base of those constituents reaching out is probably just as effective as the county doing it as well.
So we have a resolution that you can't shoot firearms down there.
It's not in the riverbed, because we can't control that.
The resolution is for a certain
Boundary.
area outside of the high water mark, outside of. So it's not, because we cannot control what's down there between the high water marks and the riverbed. That is the control of the state.
Maybe we should encourage them to go camp at the Capitol, where it's nice grass facility and they got lots of room.
And trees.
And trees. They could camp under up there and see what happens.
And, Kara, I was aware of that on the farms. I just wanted you to say it publicly so that those that have inquired on that comment hear it from someone other than myself.
Mr. Chairman, I think we are having an extensive discussion on something that's not on the agenda. I don't know how appropriate that is, but I'm sure, I know that I've received multiple calls. It is a challenge within our community, and something that probably our community is going to have to face together with multiple entities.
I think that we'll wind this up by giving Mackenzie an opportunity to speak if you want to speak on the issue of the riverbed. Otherwise, we'll go on.
Yes, not on the riverbed encampments, but the river cleanup that Sagebrush puts on, I believe, every year. We have worked with them in the past, and the landfill has been open to waiving those fees in the past. So just so you're aware, we have done that in the past. Mhm.
That discussion was so long that my computer decided to shut down. All right, anything else from the administrator?
No, sir.
Commissioner Basque, you opened a real can of worms there. And I think that it's a very important issue because there's not a single commissioner that hasn't had a call on it. And I understand people's frustration about the issue, but it's not an open and shut thing that should or should not be done. I'll leave it at that for now. We're looking into it, and the remedy from the state level is going to have to come from the legislature. All right, County Councilor, you have an update.
As far as the tax sale properties, the current one that's pending there, we did have another property that was paid off. It was approximately $18,000 between the actual taxes, fees, and court costs that was paid on that one. I do have information that there should be 2 more that probably get paid off before then as well. So I think anytime that we can get those paid before we actually have to sell them, it's a good thing. As far as those future properties that we've kind of talked about that I've started looking at for a future tax sale, did work with the treasurer's office in having them send out an initial letter going, I mean, they've had their tax bills before and didn't pay it, but sending out a letter going, hey, you're being looked at for our next tax sale, so pay this. She did give me an update this morning. Approximate payments for those properties that were delinquent are $253,385. So we've had quite a response to that, and there have been some others who've called saying that they have plans to pay their delinquent taxes on those as well. So good job to the treasurer's office for getting those letters out and for working on processing those through as well. The original list had, for the next step, was 340 parcels. It's down to 279 now, so quite a few off of there, which is good that we can get some of those taken care of. The starting amount was that was delinquent was $1,778,000 and some change there. So we're down significantly for that. I mean, not significantly as to be less than $1 million, but still making some progress, so that's good.
Percentage-wise, it's very good, but I think it shows that if we're gonna have tax sales, then the letter that says you're gonna be referred for a tax sale, that's 5 years from now versus next year has some teeth to it. So to all the taxpayers who are on the delinquent list, and I believe the treasurer has that on her website. Is that right, Trista? We'll hear from Trista, please.
Good morning, Trista Joyce, County Treasurer. So we just have the current tax sale on the website, not the next one. And that's just not to confuse taxpayers. Until this court proceeding is complete and the final sale is done, we won't want to place the next one on the website quite yet.
Well, I received a delinquent list, and I wondered whether we had published it or not.
We have not published that, just for clarity's sake.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we need to get the other one wrapped up so that we can, because it was 2018, 19, and the current list is from 20 on. We're still 5 years in the works, so we need to pay attention to it. Other report, ma'am?
No.
Is there a need for executive session?
There is.
We'll cover that as soon as we get done with board governance and commissioners' reports, and we'll do that at the end. So let's go to board governance, Madam Clerk.
The only thing I would point out is that the chamber membership breakfast is on April 16th. If you have not let Leanne know if you're going to go on behalf of Finney County, please do that. If you're not able to go, we'll fill up those spots with department
Is that
heads.
the chamber annual meeting?
No, that's the chamber membership breakfast. That would be Wednesday, the 16th. The annual banquet is on the 24th, and I believe we've heard from everybody and assigned tickets.
Okay,
So,
I have to let you know that I'm not gonna be there.
on the 24th?
Yeah.
Okay.
It got in the way of required travel duties.
Good.
So my 2 seats, or if you would, please give them to somebody.
I will make sure Leanne finds somebody else.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else on governance and meetings? Okay. Then commissioners' reports, we'll right to left. Senior, Commissioner Jones?
Thank you for the senior respect. The 2 things I have on my list were the KDOT listening session, attended that. Also had a construction meeting with Hutton, and here's the report. You can take a look at it. We have one scheduled for tomorrow at Hutton's.
These are weekly reports now?
Depends upon how busy they get.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be weekly, but bi-weekly is what we kind of talked about.
I think they'll be monthly until we get more
Yeah.
at the site, that'll go to every 2 weeks.
Okay.
But things are progressing. They had to do some replatting on the project and moving some water lines and things like that, but I think they're still on schedule.
Very good. Anything else? Commissioner German?
I also attended the KDOT listening session, library board meeting, planning commission meeting. I did attend the EMS and health department groundbreaking. Exciting. I filled in on the LEC committee meeting for the chairman. Also attended the Economic Development Board meeting. Executive Search Committee, we had a couple of meetings. And the last thing that I did was the Kansas Housing Corporation had an educational meeting discussing programs that they have available, moderate income housing, tax credits, revolving loan fund. So it was an informative session with them. That's all I have to report.
Okay. Commissioner Basque?
Due to my ongoing health issues, I haven't been able to attend any meetings. However, I hope in the next meeting or 2 that I'll be able to attend those meetings that I'm assigned to, and I'll have some reports in the future.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Oots?
I attended with Commissioner German on the Law Enforcement Center Renovation Committee. Met with the architect was there as well, and we went over the different ideas on location plans and so forth. But and then we had another meetings paused because of waiting for approval on the sales tax in Topeka. And that meeting was to bring our marketing group together with our technical group. And we now have, Dory has it out there for us to see when we're going to meet next. Have you got a reply back?
When I looked at it on Friday, it looked like it would be on the 23rd. I'll confirm that today. I was waiting to get responses through the end of last week, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I will not be here on the 23rd, Commissioner Utes, so you're going to have to chair that and run with it. And I know that former Commissioner Duries will be there to help with the technical side of it and continue to move along. My report is that I've worked really hard with our legislators on the half-cent sales tax to have adequate funding for the construction of a new jail and the remodel of the existing and repurposing of the law enforcement center. Unfortunately for us, the legislature failed to act during the regular session and adjourned without passing the half-cent tax bill. I am assured as recently as yesterday morning after church and having usual breakfast, a chance to talk with now Representative Finney. There is a plan. Whether it comes to fruition or not on the 10th and the 11th will remain to be seen. So the viewing public can contact Representative Bob Lewis, Representative Lon Finney, and our Senator, Dr. Bill Clifford, of the importance of House Bill 2275, which is the half-cent sales tax, to provide Finney County residents the opportunity to vote on this important measure to provide adequate funding from sources other than ad valorem taxes on your houses and businesses for this much-needed public project. Whether this occurs or not, we'll know before our next session. The agenda now should be that we will meet on the 21st in regular session, the 28th. We will have a work session commencing at 8:30 with a joint meeting at 11:45 with lunch with our city commissioners, both City of Holcomb and City of Garden City. We'll have regular session on May 5th. As of right now, I don't intend to be here, so Vice Chairman, you'll be in charge. May 12th, we'll have special session for all of our outside agencies, including Showcase, which will be added to that list on a schedule to be set by the administrator and the Finance Committee, and our regular session on May 19th. Anything else on schedule, Commissioners? If not, the executive session, Madam Counselor, who needs to attend and for how long? And the purpose, please.
It's to discuss non-elected personnel. The interim administrator, myself, and the commission should be in there approximately, or for a total of 15 minutes.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll move.
Is there a
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we have executive session for non-elected personnel with the attendance of the administrator and the county councilor for 15 minutes. We'll come back in at 5 after 11. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're in executive session. go back into regular session.
I'll make a motion to return to regular session.
And I will second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll confirm that no action was taken. The agenda has been set. The executive session held. We are at the end of our agenda. Is there anything else, commissioners? Vice Chairman, a motion to adjourn, please.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.